Big cities are falling out of fashion. For decades and decades, many Americans had to make their homes in the cities just to earn a living. It's where the jobs were, unless you worked on a farm. In the last few years, that's kind of switched. More of us are waking up and realizing that there can be a better life in a small town if you could swing it. Most of the time, you'll find small towns have less crime, better schools, a lower cost of living, and more affordable real estate. Sure, you have small towns near lakes, ski resorts, and on the ocean that are going to be very expensive, but those are few and far between. There's a ton of great small towns in this country. This is the second video in this new series. I've been planning this series since like the beginning of the pandemic, and I want to profile small towns in America. This is kind of a rough cut of what I want it to be. In future episodes, we'll be interviewing locals, hopefully mayors and things like that. Small town America offers a different vibe. You could find cute, small historical downtowns, stunning natural scenery surrounding that town. They're also not just for people that want to buy a home and settle down in a small town. A lot of these are great options for a weekend trip, like the last one we did, Carlton, Oregon. Great if you're into wine tasting. They got plenty of that there. Today I drove out to Camas, Washington. You've been looking at the drive out. Camas is a city in Clark County, Washington, with about 26,000 residents in 2020. The east side of town borders the city of Washougal, Washington, and the west side of town borders Vancouver, Washington. Camas lies along the Washington side of the Columbia River across from Troutdale, Oregon, which will be in a future episode. And it's actually considered part of the Portland metro area. When I first moved out here, Camas wasn't that big and it wasn't as attached to Vancouver. They've been doing a lot of construction in this area and the towns are kind of blending together. Let's take a look. Let's do a quick walking tour of downtown Camas, Washington. Should be exciting. It's actually pretty cute. Let's take a look. This is Millie. Apparently that's a dog that did something here and it doesn't say what. It just says that's Millie. Camas is a quiet Pacific Northwest town with plenty of trees, water, and decent people. This downtown section is one of the best downtowns I've seen in all my travels. Very clean, well-maintained, plenty of parking, and overall very relaxing. This is a nice place to just sit down and unwind. Take a listen. Looks relaxing and sounds relaxing. The day I was there, it was like 100 degrees. Some of the shops were actually closed because of the heat wave. The downtown has restaurants, a hotel, some art galleries, and this really cool donut shop that's opening. Next Dough Neighbor. That is a genius name for a donut shop. Right next to that, they had Donna Roberts Group, which is a real estate place. Their front window caught my attention from across the street. You can't really tell how much it glows. It looks nice, but all the little pictures there of properties that are for sale are surrounded by fluorescent lights. It's really cool. Good job, Donna Roberts. Then I ran into the Camas Washougal War Memorial. It's just a plaque and a slab of stone. No statue, nothing like that. I thought that was a little weird. Normally a war memorial or something like that has a statue. No, it's just a plaque on a square slab. a statue that goes with a war memorial, not just a plaque. Dear small town America, if you want your downtown and you want people to move to your town, you want people to come to your commercial spaces and restaurants and things like that, do what Camas, Washington is doing right now. This downtown is phenomenal. It's nice, it's casual, it's clean, it's a really nice downtown. One of the better ones I've seen in Washington. We're gonna see more here in the coming months, but this one's pretty cool. I think that is about it. So this is definitely bigger than the last one we did, which was Carlton, Oregon. The downtown is definitely bigger. Carlton's only like 2 or 3 blocks and most the lots are vacant or whatever. This one is great. Almost every shop, I think actually every single one of them is taken up, and that's so odd these days. So many downtowns across the United States have empty storefronts, and this one's doing really good. Sure, this one's closed right now, but still, it's Tuesday. A lot of businesses close down on Tuesday for some freaking reason. Camas has a good mix of towns. Just poking around Zillow and stuff, I would say the majority of the homes here were built after 1990. They really didn't have much development going on before the 1960s. There was a few homes and stuff like that, but most of the neighborhoods were built up after the 1960s and in the 1980s. But still, a majority after 1990. The neighborhoods still have a lot of open space, wooded areas, and just undeveloped acreage. I don't think Camas is gonna keep this small town vibe much longer because it's been developing pretty quickly over the last couple decades, and that's gonna continue. Part of that has to do with a lot of people don't want to really live in Portland anymore. They'd rather move across the border to Washington, where you don't have any state income tax, and at this point, not as many homeless. I don't think I saw any in Camas while I was there. All in all, I think Camas is a great small town. It's definitely a better alternative than living in Portland or Vancouver, Washington. Now, I've never lived in Camas. I've been there to visit, and that's about it, and I've looked at all the stats. I did talk to a couple friends, one who did live in Camas and Washougal, and now she lives the other side of Vancouver. She seems to think it has some problems, like every small town, but nothing major. The other guy I talked to said it's a decent town. He just doesn't like all the different activities they plan. Said it's just a little too much. But he's a little bit of a hermit, so that's on him. But if you do want to visit Camas, I would suggest going during the weekend or later on in the week. It seems like a lot of places are closed on Monday and Tuesday, at least in the downtown area. If your family decides you want to move there, they do have some decent schools. The only downside is the high school mascot name is the Papermakers. So make sure your kids are okay with that before you move. All right, everyone, this is just the beginning of this series. This is only the second video. They will be getting better, I promise. We'll see how things pan out in the coming months. Now, if you have a town you'd like me to profile, let me know in the comment section below. We'll check it out. If you're in the city council or you're the mayor of one of these small towns, I'd love to hear from you. All right, everyone, have a great day. Be nice to each other.